like my screen is very dark. Hello, internet.
It's because you're in hell, is where you are, Coleman. Well, you're not in hell.
It's pronounced Hull.
Hull. What?
Let's bring that forward.
Funny.
Just check that's going through properly. Yes.
Oh,
I am coming through very dark.
Maybe not while we're live, although slightly behind the scenes exclusive people. But remind me to mention store after show.
Okay.
All right.
It's gone.
How long is this conversation about the store going to be, Tim?
Very short.
It's Tim.
Yeah.
No, I said it's a couple of hours because it's Tim.
Yeah, and I was yaring you.
Oh, right, sorry. I thought you were doing the as in I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have been, but
Mer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. There we go. Color correction, much better.
Good.
This is all fascinating stuff for anyone that might
I'm
be
thrilled.
watching. Oh, mate.
You keep bordering on French today.
Just my voice. Just how I sound. Oh, yeah. French. The French.
Yeah.
Wondering where you're going to go.
You don't know that one. I need to put that one on the board.
What?
That's old. That's old Omicron. What's his face? Voice actor. Citizen Kane.
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. Thank you.
No,
there's a famous clip of him trying to do. I believe it's an advert for champagne, but he's absolutely off his head. And there's just this sound clip of him going, the French.
He made some wonderful decisions in the latter days of his life, did Orson Welles.
Destiny. Where is that? Oh, I could have just. It says Orson Welles on the board.
Nice.
Shall we do a show?
Let's do a show.
Okay.
You've now made me disappear down a rabbit hole of drunk Orson Welles.
Disappearing, to be fair.
I'll disappear down your rabbit hole.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, I love you. I love that story.
I couldn't find the live button. There it is.
We'll do it live.
BRB UK.
Do it live.
Worse teeth, better accents.
We'll do it live.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy, hoy. Welcome, one and all, to episode 637 of BRB UK. I'm Dan. I'm one of your hosts. Lovely to see you this fine evening, /day, /afternoon, / whatever comes between evening and morning. Night. Talking of night, a man who likes to dwell in dark. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to continue anyway. Coleman, you like the dark and lurking in places. Say hello to people.
Hi. On a completely unrelated note, before we go any further in the show, I just want to do that thing that we do each and every week where we like to give a shout out to a true gaming legend who has never cheated in anything and has never done any wrongdoing, and that's Mr. Billy Mitchell. Big round of applause for Billy Mitchell. Everyone loves Billy Mitchell. No reason to ever come after us. We've never done anything wrong. We've never said anything disparaging against Billy Mitchell. Carry on.
Excellent. And another man who loves Billy Mitchell, Tim Hibbs. Hello, Tim Hibbs.
I cannot confirm that I like Billy Mitchell. I can confirm
you're not going to deny it either, though, are you?
Is a hell of a lot of episodes of this here podcast.
You're not going to deny it, though, are you?
Mate.
No.
So I hope you enjoy your house while you've still got it, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
He's coming for you.
He will.
He's a dirty, stinking cheater.
Not to say that Billy Mitchell sues people.
He always has been.
He's a classy guy. He's never cheated at anything. We love Billy Mitchell. Love that hot sauce. And his Union Jack ties. Big fan.
They're great.
Not Union Jack, Stars and Stripes.
Yeah,
the other one. The other one. The thing that they started using after they were no longer British. That thing.
Now, the character Billy Mitchell from EastEnders, dirty cheat, horrible, terrible. Always cheated at Donkey Kong.
He's a
terrible haircut.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Although, if you say
Awful
bad
man.
stuff about Billy Mitchell's hair, that just sounds like you're being jealous, Coleman. So, because he does have quite a lot.
You said it.
I know.
Podcast?
Anyway, I think this bit went well. I think we can all agree that. This bit went really, really, very, very well. It will come as no surprise to everybody that we've all been playing the thing that everybody else has been playing. We couldn't quite get into it last show because it hadn't quite released to the great
My Little
unwashed
Kitty's
such as
Roller Coaster Adventure.
Yes, that. It's
Yes.
glorious, glorious fun times. We've been playing the Dumb. Everyone's been playing the Dumb. Dumb the Dark Ages is what's been happening.
Dumb the Dumb
it's
Ages.
Dumb the Dumb Ages.
It's been dumbed down.
Yes, it has a bit, hasn't it? Yep. So we've all been, I'd imagine, Tim, you've been playing it on the Xbox Series S, Coleman on the X, me on the PC. I've only had 3 crashes, which is good, which is pretty compared to my... You've had one?
One big one. Yeah.
What was your big one, Tim?
I did the old.
think
I
he's allowed
haven't
to
had
talk
this in a
about
game for ages. I crashed through the floor and then kept on
crashed through the
sinking
floor?
until I was like 15,000 meters away from my current.
The open world problem.
Yeah. I hadn't had that for ages. It almost felt like a bit of nostalgia.
Nostalgic.
It was like,
I'm going to
okay.
ask you, Tim, what is the first logo that appears on the screen when you boot it up? Bethesda. Just saying.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah,
It's got to be
Bethesda.
part of the Bethesda family of products.
But not only that, it broke the thing that I just did because, like, the checkpoint that it sent me back to, and not a big spoiler, but there's a puzzle that it repeats throughout some of the different levels, is where you have to bust the
A move.
Well, I was
Yes.
going to say bust the bust, but bust the statue of a
Doom
wolf
Revolution.
by throwing your shield at it, and then that somehow makes a statue appear somewhere else. And when you got all 3 of them throughout the environment, it's just basically, environmental puzzle, basic kind of one. But the wolf that I busted was the checkpoint it sent me back to, and then it didn't count that wolf as being busted, and it was there, even though I couldn't throw my shield through it anymore. And then that meant that I didn't unlock the MacGuffin thing to actually unlock a higher level of the weaponry, which was really annoying. So that was a bit
I
crap.
love how we get straight into these delicious weeds every time we talk
Yeah.
about it. So, well, look, this is interesting. Before we introduce the game, let me tell you about this very specific thing involving a statue. And it was a Tuesday, and I had a shield, and it was a wolf.
Yep.
We're always really bad at, I mean, for a podcast about video games, we're always really bad at setting up the video game that we're reviewing.
It's practically a thing now. So, let's just write it out.
Dan, I've been playing on Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and streaming on browser via the power of the Steam Deck, and all have been very good performances, I found.
Oh.
Even the Steam Deck.
Even the Steam Deck. I mean, it's streaming, so...
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, Doom, The Dark Ages, is the prequel to 2016's Doom, which was a reboot.
Well, it's the in-between qual. It's somewhere in between Doom 64 and Doom 2016.
I mean, if there was ever...
Some confusing numbers.
If there was ever a video
It's been
game series that really...
2016 Dooms.
Do you want to tell him, or shall I, Coleman, that it's...
These
There's been
cows
that many. I know
are
there's been a
small.
lot.
These cows are far away.
Anyway, if there was a video game franchise that really doesn't need to faff around with such niceties as a plot, it's Doom. You're a man who wants to shoot bad devils
Demons.
in the face.
Hell
demons and devils in
Demons
the face.
from hell.
That is the premise. But yet somehow we find ourselves involved in a plot that has space Vikings and stuff. It's a bit like kind of low rent Thor is what it kind of felt like. Much
It-
of the Dark Ages
felt
bit.
really much like it's a 40k universe that we haven't really fleshed out, explained, or bothered to tell you anything about. But here's a big king in some space armor.
I mean,
Yeah.
basically,
I mean,
it was like, man,
something.
medieval stuff looks cool, and Doom Guy would look awesome with a cape. Let's make our whole
The
plot
furry
around that,
cape.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes, a furry
I mean,
cape.
it's a weird one because the original Doom, the most story it had, I mean, you could, I'm sure there was an instruction booklet if you didn't get it off like freeware as a child that explained what was going on. But the most you got was an ending screen that showed you a decapitated rabbit and some blood-soaked parts of Earth. And it was kind of hard to tell what was going on there. And then when you look into it, there are plot synopsises out there. It's like, hey, this guy returns to Earth, and demons killed his family and his pet rabbit, and that's meant to be the rabbit that's
the bit that
decapitated.
pushed him over the
So,
edge.
Yeah, and that's like the most you get of the story in the original Doom. And then when we got
Basically,
to-
John
that's
Wick
what-
is what you're saying, yeah, but with rabbits.
Yeah,
rather than
and
dogs.
kind of
Okay.
ignoring all the Doom, like the modern day at time kind of Doom sequels, and going into the more reboot sort of territory, where it's not the Doom guy anymore, it's the Doom Slayer, and it kind of takes that thing of, hey, you know, the stories that you don't really care about in first person shooters, like we have one of those, it's running off in the side, and you as the Doom Slayer don't care. And I really liked that kind of aspect of it. I thought it was very funny. This time they've gone into, and the way it was kind of spun to me was, how did the Doom guy become the Doom Slayer? How did he get in that sarcophagus at the start of Doom 2016? And I was excited to hear that. And it's like, well, you don't actually find that bit out. So there might be another prequel in between this prequel and the previous game. But I'm assuming this is building up to, because I'm only halfway through the campaign, although it feels a bit of a slog. I'm assuming this builds up to how you got in the sarcophagus, unless they're planting more in-betweequals after this one. But
I haven't
yeah,
got to
it's
the end
very
yet, so I
plot
couldn't tell you,
heavy, which we're not used
and-
to.
I mean, well, it's very plot heavy, yet they dispense with spending a great deal of money on the people to write said plot, which is a bit of a problem. I have
Doom
to
guy
say,
angry, Doom guy smash, people around emote.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I have to say that I just kind of want to get on with shooting crap because it's Doom, and really the kind of really hammily written and badly voice acted kind of.
I don't think the voice acting was
story.
bad.
No, I don't have so much of a problem with the writing or the script. It's just, well, I do have a problem with the structure of the story and the overall kind of like the presentation of it. Okay, but the actual like, it's not giving me a reason why I care. I don't know how these maker people interact with these other people. Like, I don't know how any of the various factions are associated with each other or why they're against each other. There's is he Prince something or whatever? The guy that seems like he should be just Satan because he basically looks like he's in charge of hell.
I know we already did that last game.
And, yeah, and then there's the king guy, and I don't know who the hell he is, what the hell's going on, how he's related to the woman that's actually not really a woman because she's the heart of something, and it's just all a bit very, very strange. And I wish the whole thing was just a bit more self-aware, and like you said, had the whole him not caring about the story because then that makes you as the gamer not care about the story as much, and that seems much more in keeping with Doom, whereas this doesn't somehow.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I'm playing through I'd never finished the original, the previous two games. But when it's going through the plot, I kind of skipped over that, and then in preparation for this, watched the YouTube video of someone then explaining the plot to me. So I have some interest in the Doom plot. It's just not while I'm playing the game, and that's kind of. That's kind of the attitude I have for a lot of the style of this game as well, because my favorite part of Doom is the running around super fast, like faster than any first-person shooter, modern-day first-person shooter game, and shooting things and shooting them, switching between weapons and being very creative in kills and having a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden that stops, grinds to a halt, and it's like, now you're in a dungeon and you've got to figure out how to shield smash these specific objects, but first you have to get to that and raise a platform. And it's like, yeah, that's what I came to Doom for, puzzles. Yay.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's kind, it was kind of like that with the previous game, but it was platforms.
But also, on that note, though, do you think it throws in some mechanics just for the sake of there being some mechanics? It's kind of, to me, it feels a lot less tolerant of you just going on an app. Not one of the joys of original Doom is going on a bit of a frenzy, and the guns just got more enjoyably ridiculous as you go along. Now it's like, hang on, right, with this enemy, what combination of things do I have to do to stagger them in order to actually do damage to them? And, you know, it kind of, I know where they're going. They kind of want you as a player to constantly mix it up and just be very mindful in terms of the strategies that you're using kind of under pressure, because it's still kind of a pretty relentless pace. But to me, sometimes I just feel like there's a lot of stuff getting in the way of the core gunplay of Doom.
I think mechanically it's not uninteresting. I actually, between the more modern Dooms, between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, I think this sits somewhere in the middle of them for how I like playing through the game and the mechanics of the game. I prefer the structure of the game in terms of not having as much of the platforming as they did in Doom Eternal, or from what I saw of Doom Eternal. I think it's not quite as challenging as Doom 2016, and perhaps it's a bit too less challenging than you would like. Like, I haven't encountered many places where I've actually gone, oh, I need to be a bit careful on this. But it does feel like the environmental puzzles and solving stuff in the environment seems very simplistic, but then the actual puzzle element of the game comes more in combat. It's more like that, as you say, like remembering what type of weaponry you need to use in a particular situation in combat, and it's almost like no individual enemy is that challenging. It's almost like sometimes the combination and the sheer numbers of them being quite overwhelming means that you have to be more respectful of what's going on, and there's a lot of countering in this game where you're counteracting what's going on and hitting things back at other enemies.
The counters are very important.
Big part of the game.
I have to say, the timing's pretty loose. So, someone shot at me 4 weeks ago. I suppose I better wave my shield in the air, and that'll counter it.
I will say, because like the overall criticism I see of this game is it's too handholdy, it's a lot easier than Doom, it's insulting to a hardcore fan, like all this kind of stuff. And I get it, like you want to open it up to the general public, you want people to play this game, you want this game to sell. I understand all of that. That's why opening it up. I do wonder, a lot of people that say it's too easy and handholdy, and like, are they? Because you can mess around with a lot of accessibility options on this and make this game very, very hard for yourself. And that includes like the parry mechanics. You can shorten that up to such a degree that you've got to be precise with it. But I wonder if people do that.
There are more difficulty levels in this game than there are in most games, I would say. Like, they've tailored that so that you can. And I think a lot of fans are criticizing it for being easier than the previous games. And I think that's fair. And they've probably tailored the middle level to a slightly lower level. But then, as you say, you can just crank it up if you want, and it gives reasons to replay it. The one thing I think is good about, I quite like the weapon upgrade system and how that works in the game, and how that encourages you to actually explore the environment to get the resources you need to then upgrade weapons. But if you concentrate on one weapon and upgrade that to the max, I've seen other people say the Impaler is very good at doing this as well, but I've actually found with the plasma weapons, if you upgrade the second one of those to the max, that becomes absolutely lethal as well. So I think almost whichever weapon you may choose, that may kind of overpower things in a certain situation. And
see, I made an Impaler as well. That is fun. And it feels weird concentrating on headshots in Doom.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we sounded like we're very down on it. I have enjoyed the combat. I could do without the story, and I went in not expecting too much of the mech and the dragon levels, but so far The mech levels do seem a bit mundane, and I could have done without them. But I quite like the dragon levels. I think that was actually quite cool. Breaks things up a bit. The one thing I don't understand is, from what I saw going into the game, we saw the and I can't remember what they call it now, but the weapon that fires the fragments of skulls.
Yes.
We saw that weapon, and that was one of the things they showed off. And then we saw the shield, and then it's called the Dark Ages, and you've got a flail. And so all these things where I thought they were going to be more leaning heavy into like why it was kind of set in an earlier time and why it was like, it seems very loosely like Space Knights, and we haven't really come up with a reason or an excuse for that, but it's the thing we're doing in this game. But not many of the weapons seem to lean into that, apart from those things that I just mentioned. All the other weapons are like, and here's your rocket launcher, and here's a space laser, and and here's your combat shotgun, and it's just like, okay,
but then,
these aren't very Dark Ages-y.
Thematically, it works with riding around in a gigantic mech, and even the dragon has like weird plasma wings, and I get what you mean. It could do with more medieval influence on the weapon types, but it's fun. I'm enjoying that. Yeah, I'm enjoying the gameplay. I don't know how long I'll stick with it, because it seems that the chapters are very the levels are very kind of disjointed. You'll have ones that you kind of get over in, I don't know, 30 minutes, and then you've got the ones that will last you a couple of hours. But it's this weird balance between the times of each one. So I was finding myself flying through chapters at one point, and then went, I'll just do one more before bed, and that one lasted me like an extra 2-3 hours. And I'm
2 hours.
That seems so weird. And then I leave it for the next day, and then the next chapter is done super quick. And
have you got to hell yet?
No, not yet.
No, I'm only halfway through.
Yeah, I'm about halfway as well.
There's like the level called the Siege, I think, which is broken up into 2 parts, and both of those are quite big. And then you get to Hell, and that's in various different parts, and all of those seem quite large as well. And I quite like the bigger, larger levels where you can kind of roam around and do your thing. And this is weird. It's got the slight opposite thing that we were complaining about with Claire Obscura, where it almost holds your hand a bit too much, and the mini-map is so good that it doesn't leave much to discovery. And it also, I watched a video, and a few people have been saying similar things, and a few people pointed towards it, where it was something like the Doom devs think you're dumb or something like that. It was quite a good video. It was quite,
that's zero punctuation, I think. Whatever that channel's called now.
Second Wind, I believe. But,
Second Wind, thank you. The Escapist.
Is that the right one? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's
no,
one
you
of those
got it right.
things.
Second
Wind. It was quite a good video, but and we've sounded like we've been quite critical as well, so I can't criticize them for being overly critical. But it did seem to it did seem to be a bit very on the critical side. But one of the things I kind of hold with is like, it really does kind of go, here's a key, it's right here, like, and you can see it from miles away, and there's a big like shining light telling you where the key is. So it, as much as like, I actually think the map is quite good at encouraging you to explore all the little nooks and crannies of the map and not miss things. And that was a problem in it not having that in Clair Obscur. It almost goes too far the other way in this thing. I don't mind the map pointing you to things, but it's when you like see them from afar on the map and pointed out, and like, I don't need the big arrow pointing here, like the key is right here kind of thing. Like, that seems a bit too much.
Especially when there isn't a lot of kind of like, it's a fairly straight path once you see it at that point as well. It's not like you see something go, oh, how the heck do I manipulate the environment to get there? There isn't a lot of kind of puzzle solving with that to do in that respect either. But yeah, I mean, I think what was quite interesting playing through Doom Dark Ages for me was it really kind of, and I think this speaks more to where kind of a lot of FPSs are at the moment in terms of what they ask of the player. To me, I had to get my head around playing in a super aggressive style, because if you hang back, in Doom, you're gonna die. What you need to do is just get stuck in, be smashing everything in the face in close range to keep the health and the ammo and the armor coming.
Keep moving, keep shooting, but you have to strategize at the same. You've got to kind of strategize on the fly, which sounds like an oxymoron, but you really, as long as you remember the techniques of when you're meant to be parrying, when you're meant to be throwing your shield, when you're meant to be heating up armor before you smash it, like that kind of stuff. It's very intuitive. I really enjoy this game, but I don't know how long I'm sticking with it, just because of, I don't know. I actually don't know what it is. Something about it kind of, it's exciting, and at the same time is kind of putting me to sleep while I play it. And I'm not talking about the plot, but I do enjoy this game. But I'm really, you know me, I'm quite cynical with the whole industry in general, be that of games criticism or games themselves. But I'm being extra cautious with, and I can never tell when the majority of the criticism I see online is game is too easy, devs made too easy, they think you're a moron. I do understand that a lot of games criticism is now like influential rather than journalism, and a lot of it is for clicks. And I saw it, firsthand with Assassin's Creed Shadows. If I didn't play that game, I would have seen a lot of footage and went, that game's really dumb and easy and glitchy and horrible, and why would I bother playing it? But then playing it, I could see the clips being shown around going, this game's horrible and broken. They've turned the difficulty right down so they can go, look how stupid this AI is. I do worry about that with this.
Could this be because you are dumb and therefore you want a big dumb game for a big dummy?
Tim. Nice. Lovely. That's a nice angle to put on it.
Coleman not dumb. Leave me alone. I'm going to eat my glass now.
But as you say, like, I enjoyed it, but there's so many good games around at the moment that I feel compelled to finish because of the story, because of the narrative driving me through that this doesn't have. But at the same time, I find this game enjoyable and easy to pick up and play. Not in a, oh my god, this game's so easy, but just in a, I can just sit here and play this and it's fine, and I can just pick it up and play through it and just play it through to the end and have fun doing it. Like, I don't see that as a massive problem either, basically. But yeah. Remains to be seen which game I go back to, but yeah.
I'd say I love our audience.
Why?
He called me dumb, and then Zach Wood says pot kettle Tim, and Spiky Chris says, Jesus, Spurs win their first trophy in 70 years, and Tim starts laying into Coleman.
Yeah, well, it's fair.
Nice.
Football hooligans.
Tim. But yeah, I mean, I think in short, it's kind of, it's Doom. It's got kind of pretty up there production values. It's, it kind of has a very unique feel to it. Like you, Common, there's something I can't quite put my finger on here that just makes me feel that it kind of feel. And maybe I need to tweak the difficulty a bit to make it kind of give me that challenge. But it just all feels a bit safe sometimes. I don't know why.
I think I'm assuming it's just the feeling, because Doom, especially with the reboot, the relaunch, 2016. Doom kind of felt like, kind of in that same vein as a Dark Souls, where it's like, yes, this game is hard, but that's just the game. Like, there are difficulty options, but if you don't like it, then you're not in the club. And this one feels so like they've really tailored it to make it open, make it more appealing to the broader audience. I'm assuming that could be the uneasy feeling. It's like your friend of your childhood friend that you've grown up with. Someone else has turned up wearing their face, and you've gone, "You're not my friend, but you're acting like my friend, and you're trying to assume their place." I think I screwed the analogy up somewhere.
Face off with that, but okay.
Wait a minute, you're Nicolas Cage.
The thing that I can't get past is, to me, for both Doom the Dark Ages and Doom Eternal, it felt like they reinvented the formula for Doom 2016, and everyone really liked it, and it was really popular. And for some reason, they felt like they had to reinvent it again for the next two games, whereas I don't think they needed to reinvent it as much as they did. They could have just tweaked it a little bit and gone again and just added another game, and everyone would have been fine with that. I don't think it needs this is the Dark Ages hook and we've got big mechs, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure it needed the stuff that they've added. Like,
To your point, Tim, Doom came out in the 90s. How many sequels were Doom? They just kept doing Doom.
Yep.
They just added new weapons and enemy
more Doom.
types. It's just more Doom.
yeah,
We like Doom. Make more of that.
yeah.
Should we wrap up Doom? The
Let's
Dark
wrap up
Ages.
Doom.
It's
Let's do
available
that.
now on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S. $69.99 on all platforms, unless, of course, you're playing it on Game Pass
Game
Ultimate.
Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Seen more and more
Which I think
value
we're all
out of
doing.
Game Pass Ultimate, but yeah,
Game Pass Ultimate this year has been,
Absolutely bangers.
we're just about to hit the halfway point of the year, and it's been the best value for money since they've launched the service, I believe.
to be fair, even the end of last year was pretty strong as well, like with Indiana Jones and other stuff before the end of the year.
Yeah, starting
it's been-
December, it's like
Yeah.
really, really cranked up. And testament to that, apparently Xbox sales have gone up. So there you go.
Nice.
And
Good for
as
them.
much as we like to give them knocks for Bethesda Games has been a large part of that. They've been some of the real highlights of that calendar period as well, basically. So, yeah, just saying.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oblivion.
I keep forgetting that's Bethesda.
Doom: The
Yes.
Dark Ages.
Yes, true.
That's three of the big hitters, I would say.
I mean, Oblivion gets worse the longer you play it, Tim. I don't know if you've seen the headlines.
It's true of most games, to be fair, Colin.
But in
No,
a
but I mean
very,
on a technical
but in a
level.
very Bethesda way.
I mean, considering the last big output from Bethesda that came to Game Pass day one was Starfield, and I don't think that went down too well
No.
to
Well,
how some of their other titles have gone in the past.
yeah.
Should we do the news?
Let's do the news.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the news.
Dan, I know you love talking about him.
Oh, naughty Bungie have been naughty.
Bungo.
So
The
we
burgling
all-
bungos, as we like
the
to call
burgling
them.
bungos.
The burgling bungo boys.
So I think we all know that Marathon is a thing that's coming out. Yet very just what the world needs, another extraction.
Really
shooter
cool
rather
art
than-
style.
Yes, exactly. And that's
game
what
doesn't
made it-
appeal to me, but the whole time I've gone, do you know what? That's a really good art style. That
Exactly.
appeals
That-
to me. Makes me want to play the game, even though I know I'm not going to enjoy the game.
Yeah, exactly. So its USP has been the its art style, which I think we can all agree is very unique. It's a bit Marmite.
Very
Some
cool.
people love it. Some people not so keen, like Coleman.
I like the caterpillar.
Yes, but so that wonderful art style but just makes you know what something Marathon is if you see it. You go, yep, that's Marathon. Bit of a problem with that. Turns out quite a lot of the major elements of it were slightly nicked, I think, from
Another artist.
basically so there is the what is alleged, and it seems to be backed up by
It's
by
very
the actions that
alleged.
Bungie have taken, is that there was an artist called what's her name?
Antriel.
Yes, Anti-Real, who that is her kind of her signature style, and she was publishing a lot of this work back in 2017 before development of Marathon really started in earnest in 2018. And it turns out that a lot of her art and a lot of the things that she's done, not just a bit. I know there's a thin line, Tim, where you're likely to go is, well, what's inspired by versus lifting stuff off.
I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll let you say your piece, but
This, there are one-to-one matches between
Yeah.
a lot of the work that she has done and what is actually in the assets for this. People said, look, that's a one-to-one match. That has just been straight lifted. And it looks like, and Bungie said, well, we think it was a contractor who was working for us at the time, but yes, we
A
accept.
former employee.
Former employee. They have, yes, we agree. This looks like it's lifted. We need to do right by this. In fact, they had another big live stream planned, which they pulled the video content from because they are reviewing all of the art assets that are in Marathon at the moment. So
That's
Well,
harsh.
unfortunately,
it's
they
not a
went
great.
ahead
with
with
on
the live stream, but without actually having any gameplay to show. So
Yes.
it was just an hour or two,
The
couple of
sorry
hours
tour.
of them just being absolutely roasted by
Yeah.
chat by the looks of things, which wasn't.
Yeah,
Now, I know-
exactly.
I know you've been
it was
reading-
a tough watch. It was a
Yeah.
very
I know
tough
you've been
watch.
investigating this, Tim, and you're really championing the bit to do some bit. But I just wanted to say, because I've seen a lot about this, is this the because I've heard there's like 6 instances, but there's only 3 that I could see. So 3 different occasions they've been accused of plagiarizing artworks from other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some being like in some cases fan art of Destiny 2, then used for Destiny 2 merchandise. And
Yep.
every time in these 3 cases, sorry, each of these 3 cases, they blamed it on an ex-employee that's left the company and stolen some artwork and left it there.
Is it the same
As
as
reference
employee?
art.
He's just a wrong.
Yeah, so they keep rehiring
Just
them
keep
and
on
then going, "Oh,
rehiring
he's
and
done it
firing."
again! I can't believe it."
Damn it, Bob.
Right, there is an argument that there needs to be more checks and balances in it, although it does seem like this has been slightly overblown. Like, from
Really?
what I've seen, there is one example of a direct lift of this person's work, and they're reviewing it to see if there are more. I haven't seen any more examples than the one example taken. I think it's fair game to have, like, you know, a mood board, as they tend to have when they have, like, you know, different examples of different art that they go from. But also the artist that they did take this from, and it does look like that was, you know, there is a case to answer on that one particular item that they literally had her signature in the piece, kind of thing.
Ouch.
But it doesn't necessarily, like, she's not the originator of this art style. There are other people, and one of the people that did stuff before she did stuff that predates the work that she put out on the internet of this stuff is the artist, you know, the artistic creator of this game, basically. So, like, and some of the stuff that she started on is based on stuff like Wipeout and stuff that kind of helped create this artistic movement
good
as
style.
well. Like, so it's not like it's solely her creation and they've entirely stolen and lifted everything she's ever done and put it in the game. There is something that
It's
ended
quite
up
a
in
lot
the
they
game
have,
that
Nick,
is
though.
an example of her work, and it looks like an overuse of that in terms of not fair use and taking it directly. And as I said, that's a case to answer for. It does look like the internet slightly overreacted in the case of how much plagiarism there is and how much they've taken from this person. Whether there does flag up more examples, and whether there are other things that can be said can be said to be done. But I don't think it's entirely fair to say that the entire art style of this game was the creation of someone else, because there's various things that influenced her that have influenced them, and so there'll be some similarities. But there's also just, you know, they've taken various different influences and made their own thing. And I think it is an art style that does seem, you know, of its own making, but has influences of stuff that's been there before, Wipeout and other stuff. But yeah, it remains to be seen exactly how far this goes. But it doesn't seem like it goes quite as far as the initial internet reaction suggested that it may be, basically.
Okay.
But it's still
mean,
not
art
a
is
good look for
dead.
Bungie at the moment.
Art
It's
is
not
dead,
what this
Tim.
game
Long live
needs.
podcasts.
Also, it's an extraction shooter, so I don't care anyway. So I'm not going to defend it anymore. So
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's there've been plenty of games like this where I go, I'm not interested in that game, but I really like the art style.
yeah.
Which is what I was trying to get at the start of this. I did see, I was going to pull clips of it for this show, but it was one of those like slapped together AI voice videos, and I just can't consume those. But it was going through examples of like as far down as like the icons that are used in ammo pickups and power-ups and things, like finding those icons from other reference files that have been taken. So I think there's more cases than this one specific artist that's been dug into. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it's just kind of,
You could
it
say
is
the
very
same
popular
about
to put
almost
to,
anything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, you can
could
even
pick
Big
apart
Red Barrel, you know.
Doom the Dark Ages or Big Red Barrel. Like, there's nothing new in the world, you know. Like, everything else is influenced by everything else that's gone before it. And if you dig deep enough and find enough examples, then you go, well, they took it from these 5,000 different examples. Like, that's not a good enough thing to say that it kind of, like, just because you're referencing other things or similar to other things doesn't mean that you've necessarily entirely stolen a complete art style. You know, like, that's not.
I mean, we plagiarized Tim's voice from a backed up drain. So,
Yeah.
you know.
True. Very true.
I was
But
going to say, I've
talking-
completely forgotten what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's popular to punch on Bungie at the minute because
Yeah.
of the redundancies and the purchase from PlayStation and the CEO and all
It's
that
not
kind of
looking
stuff.
great for them. I'll be
I
honest
also
with you.
think that Marathon has more problems than just some stolen art assets. Like, it's yeah.
There is some.
I didn't play the alpha, but from what I've heard of it,
Delay it,
felt a
relaunch
very-
it as Snickers. That's what you should do.
it felt very play by the numbers. It felt again, it's kind of not really. It's not quite accessible enough for people brand new to
All
to,
numbers
to,
down.
to this.
Numbers
but it's also
all the way down.
Yes. Well, anyway, whatever I was saying, that's what I said. All right, Tim can't contain himself on this story, so we're going to move on to the next one.
You never can. It's Tim. 637 episodes of this, Dan. You think you would have learned?
Yeah, I know.
Can I talk about AI Vader, please?
Yes.
Yeah, go on then.
I've got to be careful what I say. But so, rest in peace, James Earl Jones. As we know, he passed away, and before he did, decided to sell his voice rights to an AI company that can now use them, mostly for Disney. But the voice of Darth Vader is now completely AI generated. You don't need to. And, this is an argument we'll get to in a moment, but traditionally, when you couldn't get James Earl Jones and you had a Star Wars project, maybe a video game, a cartoon, something along those lines, you would hire a sound-alike and, a lot of his voice is modulation, to be fair, make them sound like Darth Vader, and as a child, couldn't tell the difference. Now, it's all AI. And in Fortnite, they have an AI Vader. They had a playable Darth Vader. He's been in the game for 2 years now. They've added an AI component, so when you talk to Darth Vader on voice chat, he can now respond in AI, and he will address, characters in the game. So AI will address Spider-Man and talk about his reflexes being like one with the Force. And it's created some very interesting things. People have managed to get him to swear. They've got him to say some racially insensitive things. They've had to reset the AI voice dialogue a couple of times and add new parameters to stop him doing certain things. And it's not great for the legacy of one James Earl Jones, to be fair. But also, as I mentioned previously, with the whole not hiring other voice actors to take that role, this has got the ire of one SAG-AFTRA, who don't mess with them. They took entertainment to a standstill for just over a year for television and film, not long ago, and took the entire entertainment industry production just backwards for a while. Like, if you remember, all the Marvel movies got pushed back and all this stuff, following on from COVID, and then this happened. So don't mess with them. They will strike, and they will just ruin everything for you. So SAG-AFTRA,
when I first heard this story, a bit of me secretly wished it was not James Earl Jones they got the rights to the AI voice for, but David Prowse, who actually played Darth Vader with a very Bristolian accent. All right, my lover.
have you ever listened to his original
the
lines?
dark
Because
side of the Force.
he doesn't have the West Country voice. He's just like, "You there?" He kind of sounds like Matt Smith with Bane.
Is this just a thing developed
You'll
excuse
give
for
me
you
the
to do
plans
it?
for the
Yeah,
Death
it's
Star
an
now.
excuse for Coleman to do a Bane impression.
No, I'm not doing a Bane. But yeah, Peter Prowse's voice are very good. But yes, they are now targeting Epic Games because they have sidestepped negotiations by the synthetic voices without consulting or bargaining its video game performers.
To be fair, Epic Games lawyers must be very busy at the moment. Generally, like
That's
must
it.
be on a good
They're going after
retainer.
Apple again.
Yeah.
Yay! Woo!
I mean, we can jump straight into that.
Let's
But yeah,
jump
very
straight-
well.
that sounds like a pretty sweet segue to me.
That's fair enough. Yes, but also this week, and I don't know if you guys, I mean, you're an Apple user, Dan, with the iPhone. I don't know if you've seen much about this, but we know there was a whole standstill where they took away Fortnite from Apple devices. You can play it on your phone anymore because
Full
there
disclosure, I gave zero poops about that, but do carry on.
I didn't care that they took Fortnite away from Apple, but I did like, and I kind of saw through the sentiment that was set up by Epic, but at the same time agreed with it. So the whole thing was, if you sell things through most app stores, but in particular Apple, you have to give, if you're selling some kind of transaction, microtransaction, monetary type thing, if you're getting in-game cosmetics or currency, you have to pay a percentage of that to Apple. And Apple tend to take more of a percentage than most stores out there. So Epic, they pulled their game from Apple stores and Google Play, I believe, at the time as well, to try and negotiate like a smaller percentage taken. And their whole thing was they were like, we're doing this for the little guy. And I didn't believe for a second they were, but at the same time, it's like, yes, there should be some form of reform to this. Let's see how we go. And this has worked out now, so much as... So Apple, I don't know if you know about this. If you have Patreon, if you're selling your stuff through Patreon and people pay you a prescription, if you're doing that on your iPhone, you're automatically paying more to Patreon through Apple than you are on any other device. And it's Patreon to go, well, we get charged for people using iPhones more. So if you subscribe to someone using your iPhone, we automatically charge you that extra to make up the cost, which is quite... You know, that's all been, there's been a whole legal thing about this, which, you know, in our circles with video games hasn't been that public, but this has all been, this has all been thrown out now. Apple can't gouge on prices anymore. The whole Patreon thing's reverted. A lot of people going, oh, I'm paying less for whoever I subscribe, H-Bomber guy, you know, if I'm using an iPhone. And this has kind of given Epic the heads up to go, right, let's go back at Apple again, because they're trying to get, they're trying to get so everything's going their way, but Fortnite is not back on the App Store, and they're claiming, Epic are claiming that Epic are doing this. Apple are doing this on purpose, not putting the game back on the App Store.
So this all comes down to the app review and approval, doesn't it? So like Apple. Well, you can't just publish any old crud to the Apple Store. There are automated checks. They are partially automated, but there are also humans involved as well that make sure the app runs without issue, that, you know, if it crashes, it does so gracefully, that it won't pose a security risk to the phone or anything else. And, you know, it's unclear on what grounds Apple went, no, we're not going to approve it. But obviously a cynical read of it is like, look, this has been going on. You're not approving.
We want our money.
Yeah, you're not approving for the Fortnite app for all of these other reasons, and this is just a way for you to kind of through the back door, kind of block us from doing reasonable business on your platform. Yeah.
But anyway, this is getting ugly online. CEO of Epic, Tim Sweeney, he is now reaching out to Tim Cook over X, formerly known as Twitter.
Excellent.
Battle of the Tims.
To try and get his game put back up again.
Yep.
Anyway, Fortnite.
Tantrum in Timville.
Apple. It's all battle of the billionaires, as once said in WWE terms, with McMahon versus Trump. Yeah, fun times. One last one this week,
Still
and quite surprising.
His haircut and that. Anyway.
Who, Trump?
Yeah.
It was never happening. Wouldn't have taken long.
Boom. No, exactly. Just do the comb over the other way. Oh, you're bald already. Oh, mate.
So Stellar Blade. I really enjoyed Stellar Blade. I believe you two didn't. I think Tim played the demo, and Dan went herped up.
I played the demo.
Not wearing much. Oh, Dan played the demo.
I did play the demo, but that's how I formed my opinion of this. Feels a bit objectifying to me. I'm not sure about this.
I enjoyed it.
Of course you did.
I enjoyed it. It was a very good and fun game, and I need to go back to it since the updates. But as well as the information of Stellar Blade 2 being greenlit and in the works now, and possibly releasing very soon, the PC version of the game on Steam has been unexpectedly blocked in, I believe it's around 120 countries, which includes Egypt, Vietnam, and Estonia, where PlayStation Network isn't available. So if you remember the whole thing where I believe Helldivers 2 was the big kickoff about this, but PlayStation started releasing their games on PC through Steam, and then at some point started patching their games to go, you require a PlayStation Network login to play this game, which understandably a lot of people up in arms about, especially if you've bought the game beforehand. Then that led to PlayStation reversing the decision, and their way to get people to sign up to PlayStation Network is to entice them with little things, little trinkets and deals. They might go, hey, if you get Spider-Man 2 on the PC, well, you get these 2 special suits for Miles and Peter if you sign into the PlayStation Network and tie your account to this game. So that's their plan now. Rather than forcing you to do it, they're making it an optional decision, but they'll tie in a price to it in some form or another. Apparently that's enough to get you banned in certain countries.
Nice.
So if you sign into the PlayStation Network and tie your game to it, you get a specific costume for the character in Stellar Blade. But yeah, apparently there's no actual explanation saying why it's been banned, but people are theorizing that is the reason. If you're offering someone an incentive to sign into the PlayStation Network, that will get you banned in countries where PlayStation Network isn't available, which I find very odd, but funny. Unfortunately, this was not funny to the team behind Stellar Blade, because even though PlayStation knew what was going on, they didn't until it hit the headlines. So
Nice, great, good work, Sony. Christ. Again, it
Play
kind
Stellar
of
Blade,
comes down
great
to
game.
why I know these things are all kind of obviously with Sony publishing them. I get it. They want to maximize the value of their online platform and pimp it wherever possible. And there's absolutely no bloody good reason whatsoever for it to rely on it. It just seems absolutely egregious that they're trying to shove it down people's throats. So I kind of...
Is it really worth marketing to certain to that many emails? Like, you're getting £70 out of them. RRP.
Yeah.
You know, you got an extra revenue stream. You know, do you really need marketing emails at that point? I don't know. I don't work in marketing. Is it really that valuable?
More is better, right?
Yeah.
More
I
better.
guess so.
More better.
More better.
Communication, I guess.
They love being omni-channel, and this helps them be more omni-channel, I'm guessing, whatever that actually means. I don't know anymore. It's all very silly. Anyway, talking of silly,
We got through all the news, and we didn't even talk about Randy Pitchford.
Yay!
hey,
shirts.
it's good.
That's a win in
You
my
just
book.
did, though.
Ah, damn it!
No, Randy.
I lost the game.
You
Yep.
did.
Finish your
Talking of silly things, it's that time of the show where I remind you to go to tpublic.com/stores/BRB and buy things with my face on it, or other things that are probably a slightly better object to put on your bodily person, but aren't quite as much fun as things with my face on. So that's it. tpublic.com/stores/BRB.
I checked what products your face and our other designs are available
All of
on.
them.
And you
Here we
can
go.
buy your face on a pillow. I can confirm that.
Body pillow?
Not body pillow, just a pillow.
Dan
pillow.
body pillow. Coming soon. Kawaii Dan body pillow.
Can buy your mug on a mug.
There.
I'm just going to stick Dan's face on Hatsune Miku and sell it as an anime
You're a
body pillow.
Robin. You're a bad man. You're a bad
I was
man.
at
Bad
someone's
man.
house for the football last night, and their dog kept on trying to shag a pillow. It was
No, I don't need photos of that, of people having carnal relations with my face on a pillow.
It's an idea. That's what I'm saying. Some cross marketing. Fans of dogs and your face.
I'm trying to think how I can turn this into a competition.
Thanks. Don't give it too much thought. Anyway, enough of that. Tim, What's the
What's the worst thing you can do with Dan's face on a pillow? Answers on a postcard.
Right, Tim, Tuesday is a Tuesday, and you like hanging about in a bar on Tuesday so people come up to you and stroke your thighs. Tell us about
That's
it.
an outrageous lie, but what isn't a lie is each and every Tuesday we do an event called Tabletop Tuesday at the Loading Bar in Stoke Newington. Each Tuesday we have a different feature game. If you play that feature game that evening, you have a chance of winning a copy of the game at the end of the evening. This week's
Splendid.
game is a game called Dungeons, Dice and Danger. It is a roll and write game, a dungeon crawler from the mind of Richard Garfield, who is a seminal, very well-known board game designer who's made some great games over the years. Magic the Gathering being the most famous of them, probably.
That's a pretty big one.
It's a pretty big one.
He also hates Mondays
King
and
of
loves
Tokyo
lasagna.
probably being my favorite of his, maybe Keyforge as well. But anyway, this looks like a really good, fun game. It looks really interesting mechanically. It looks really cool. Looks like a good one, and will make for a great prize for someone as well. All you have to do to win it is to come along, try out the game, and then one lucky winner will go home with a copy just for trying out that very evening. If you want more details, check out the right-hand side of BigRedBarrel.com, where the information is actually up to date, because I got time to do that today. Or you can join the over 2,200 people on our meetup group, or just come along to Loading Bar in Stoke Newington on Tuesday, the 27th of May, and play Dungeons, Dice, and Danger.
Splendid. Do that.
Good.
Tuesday. Every Tuesday. Stoke.
Tabletop Tuesday
Loading Bar,
at the
Stoke Newington. Go
Loading
there.
Bar in Stoke Newington. Be there on the 27th to play Dungeons, Dice, and Danger.
Lovely.
Good.
Do that.
The 3Ds.
3Ds. Tim loves the Ds.
He does.
If you've
Three of them
enjoyed
at
this
the same time.
show, you've got some amazing tastes. You really have, but you might want to see a psychiatrist. We love you for listening. We love you for watching. Be sure to go to BigRedBarrel.com. That's the website that hosts this here show and has all the links to important things like YouTube and Twitch and social media and, more importantly, Discord. Where you can go over and you can talk to us, you can chat to us, you can ask us questions, much like Rago has done on Discord. He says, I has a question,
Ooh.
much like I can has
Excellent.
cheeseburger.
Yes.
What is your favorite gaming merch / collectible or anything in between that's a real life item?
Dan's face.
Well, obviously.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
But also, as it's relevant to this week's main game topic, and while you guys are thinking about it, the Doom helmet came out as part of the Doom Collector's Edition for Doom: The Dark Ages, basically, and it's quite big. It actually fits on your head, unlike the Halo Cat helmet, which I may come back to in a second. But yeah, like that. Like I actually saw someone cycling down the road the other day on a bike, trying to carry this massive box that contained the Doom: The Dark Ages
I've
helmet.
really thought I was going that they were wearing the helmet, because that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Trying to
cycle
carry
helmet.
A massive box
Wearing
on a
helmet
bike without
counts.
a helmet.
Rippin'. Turn signal.
To be fair, it looked very difficult, but she did a very good job of it. She managed to
Well done.
transport it a fair distance.
Well done, that person.
Yes.
I've downsized on all my personal belongings, so I don't have any like cool gaming merch anymore. But I'm always a sucker for like a limited edition console. Like, even though it was tied to that awful Kinect game, I really did like the Star Wars Xbox 360 console. When you open it and it does the little R2D2 noises, that was really cool.
That was quite cool.
Where's
Yeah.
he gone? Where he gone, Tim? He's legged
Tim's
it
gone
again.
for a poo.
He's gone for a wee.
Oh, he's gone to get some merch. I know what it's like. It's Tim. He's got to do
God.
show and tell.
I think you're talking about consoles. That's quite cool.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See?
Good that.
Yeah.
But
legit?
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, probably that's up there. Like, I don't, as you say, I've kind of scaled back on how many collector's editions I buy these days. Did buy that Pip-Boy thing. I think that was about the last one I bought because that was silly.
Tim's Fisher Price Price Pit Boy. That's hard
But
to say.
I think the Halo Cat helmet, that's the one that I still have on display. That's one that I care about. I'm also
And you've got a
sucker
cat
for-
now.
Yeah, and I can put it
Have
on
you
my
tried
cat.
putting it on the cat?
No, I don't think you should be very happy. I am also a sucker for a steelbook edition if I'm buying a physical copy of the game. I do like a steelbook.
I've got a bunch I'm throwing out if you want them.
I have 'em.
I hate steel books.
Oh, I like them. I'll have them.
I
I've
think
got my games to match up.
my favourite
got the
one. I mean,
game,
a lot
I'll
of
take
people, I think people are probably half expecting me to say a Destiny
Something
Ghost.
Destiny related.
No,
Something
no, but
Destiny
actually,
Ghost.
my favourite one is because a while back I had some ages back some Club Nintendo points when it was still a thing. And I actually got some of the Mario Kart trophies, like real life little Mario Kart trophies.
I've got one of those.
They're worth an absolute ton online.
Probably not mine.
Really?
Dropped it
Where
once.
did you put it?
Had to
Coleman?
super glue it back together.
Oh dear. Where's Tim? Tim's gone again.
Oh, he's gone to get something else again. It's probably the Batarang behind him.
Yeah. Where have I put my Batarang?
Batarang, Tim. It's behind you, Tim.
Where have I put my Batarang?
But one of my favourite actual, I was remembering, it's not quite a steel book, but one of my favourite like actual collector's editions for like just the case being cool was, I think, Uncharted 3, I think it was, rather than Uncharted 2. But it had like a thing that was like made up like it was Drake's notebook.
Yeah,
And,
I remember that.
That was quite
That's
cool.
for number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was for 3, yeah.
Yeah. I quite liked, there was a Fable 3. I've still got the Fable 3 one in lockup. But it came like a big book, and there was a hidden compartment, and it had a pack of Fable themed playing cards and a little token. So the idea was if you were doing bad or good choices, you could flip it and like a coin. And
That's
use that.
quite
But it
cool.
was
That's quite cool.
but it looked like a hero seal, which was kind of cool. Yeah, I think if I don't, you know, I've never owned this, but if I was to go in for the merch, I would love a Steel Battalion controller because I think they look awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't have enough space for that in your life, Coleman.
I know my old housemate had one, and he lost it when he came up to London.
Lost
left it in a
it?
house, and well, he was living somewhere, and it was a friend of the show, Neil. He left it in his old place and then never went back for it. It's like, oh, I don't want to knock on the door and ask for my controller back. But yeah, I love the Steel Battalion controller. I'd love to have one of those things.
Yeah, they were cool.
But it was on the original
Good
Xbox,
question,
so,
Brygo.
not great. Yeah,
Good
no,
question.
thanks. A lot of
Timely
enjoyment.
Good
and
with that.
question, sir.
This is weirdly a topic we could talk about for a long time, I think.
Yeah, don't encourage. Tim will go back to his cupboard of things before you know it. We need to be careful.
In the
lest
cupboard.
we don't
More
encourage him.
questions on things. Go do it. And also, while I'm on the subject of plugging stuff, if you are watching on our streaming sites, if that's on Twitch or YouTube, be sure to hit subscribe. It will let you know when we're going live, even though we do put that on social media as well. And we're going to try keep the live streams up of the show because for some reason people seem to like watching those rather than the full finished product that I put out that sounds and looks better. But whatever, I'm not here
that
to
it bothers
judge.
you.
I will put the live stream versions up as well as the full polished version. I might revisit that in future, like what I'm going to do with that going forward. But we'll
Go
see.
questioning
a lot
my
of effort
life.
goes in. I was thinking of putting just the live streams up and then like putting the using the high polished version, just putting like clips up, and then
That's a good
also
plan.
putting like the TikTok. I don't know. I'll figure out something, but I'm going to do it in the future when I have more time because
That's
I'm
also a
doing a
good
thing
plan.
I'm planning a thing out in my life so I can have more time to do stuff.
Also a good plan.
Stay tuned.
Yours. So
That's the podcast.
That is the podcast. So go to all the places that Coleman told you to go to on the internet. Check out the show notes if you need a reminder of where those places were. But most importantly, we're going to wrap the show up. And all that's really left to do is to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
I've been a Steel Battalion controller because I
Ooh.
couldn't think of something funnier to say.
I'd like to play with you.
I've been a stolen asset.
Oh, Tim,
it
you had
was
to,
right
why do
there.
you have to ruin it, Tim? Jesus, always ruining it. We're gonna go. Thank you for coming along, and we'll be back next week. So until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
Oh, bad timing.
I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
Get over here!
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
It don't matter. None of this matters.
No.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
No.
Timothy.
Worst episode ever.
As always.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the show. Thank you. And
Why don't you lay off the Asians?
Oh,
we've got there's yet more cheap viewers are available. You'd be pleased to know. My favourite.
oh, good.
You can start giving the spam some time.
It's very meta.
And of course,
Spam the spam.
this episode was brought to you by Stream Boot. Your friend and mine.
They will install the finest malware on the internet on your computer.
Shall we go?
I think we should.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks all. Okay, I love you. I really don't like that.
You love it. In fact, one more time. In fact,
What's not to like about Jackie Chan loving you, Dan, eh?